Welcome back. The details. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi gave his directives on Tuesday for the pricing of non-subsidized bread in a bid to reduce its high prices. Meeting with Prime Minister Mustafa Mabouli and several concerned ministers, the president instructed supply commodities regulators to put those new prices into force. As President Sisi reviewed government's recent efforts to control and monitor markets, he directed to offer additional incentives for supplying local wheat. The head of state noted that the armed forces is encouraged to coordinate with the Ministry of Supply and Long Live Egypt Fund to offer low-price basic food commodities nationwide in the run-up to the holy month of Ramadan. Prime Minister Mustafa Mabouli headed the first meeting of the committee responsible for studying the impact of the current international crisis on strategic commodities. During the meeting, Mabouli said that the current crisis has left impact on the whole world, including Egypt, as it imports a number of strategic commodities from Russia and Ukraine. The Prime Minister said President Sisi had issued directives to prepare several scenarios for dealing with the impact of the crisis, noting that the Finance Ministry was directed to set an emergency plan in order to deal with the current and expected rise in prices of the imported commodities. Directives were also issued to the Ministry of Supplies and monitoring authorities to guarantee continuous availability of various goods and commodities. Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry held talks with Malaysian Defence Minister Hishamuddin Hussein on Tuesday. The meeting tackled means of boosting bilateral cooperation between the two countries in the field of in light of Shoukry's visit to Malaysia during his current Asian tour. Shoukry also met with Malaysian Minister of Environment, during which they discussed the agenda of the 27th session of the upcoming Conference of the Parties, COP27, for the UNFCCC. The top diplomat will participate in the 48th session of the Council of Foreign Ministers of Member States of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, which will be held in the Pakistani capital, Islamabad, on March 22nd, over 2 days. Earlier, Minister Shoukry held talks with Malaysian counterpart, which tackled means of enhancing bilateral cooperation. Agenda of the Climate Change Conference, providing finance for developing countries, as well as efforts to reduce gas emissions, were tackled in the meeting. The Interior Ministry issued a statement detailing the latest measures to control markets. In a statement, the ministry said that during the past 24 hours, 98 cases of issues violating with over 2,633 tons of food supplies, construction material were confiscated. 11,040 oil packages were also confiscated. The statement said over 165 tons of food supplies were confiscated in the campaign, as well as 26 tons of subsidized wheat. As for overpricing cases, 2,245 food commodities were confiscated from violators. The statement said that as for the monopoly of construction material, 196 tons of steel were detected. The International Committee of the Red Crescent announced the establishment of the first Egyptian aid service center on the Siret border crossing between Ukraine and Romania. The Red Crescent said the move came after continued coordination with the Red Cross in Romania in order to allow for receiving Egyptians fleeing Ukraine into Romania to bring them back home. The center offers first aid and psychological assistance to refugees crossing the border and helps them communicate with their families. It also provides meals and pays costs for refugees unable to travel to Bucharest airport. Arab League Secretary General Ahmed Abul-Ghait participated in the opening of the 8th Arab Forum for Sustainable Development in Lebanon on Tuesday. The forum is organized by the Economic and Social Committee for Western Asia at the headquarters in Beirut in cooperation with the Arab League and a number of partners. In his statement during the inauguration, Abul-Ghait pointed to the repercussions of coronavirus pandemic that shouldered the Arab countries and caused losses in some of the achievements that were before the virus. He referred to the alarming rise in poverty and hunger figures in the Arab world and dangers it possesses to the security and stability of societies.